Hello, and welcome to day 2. Today we're going to talk about your habits, how they form in your brain, and why they're such a pain in the ass to change. I know it might seem impossible to change your habits, but from a brain perspective, it's just really hard. Your brain, when you're younger, went through a process called neuropruning, which kind of cements your habits into place. At age 13, you had 120 billion neurons, but by age 19, that pruned down to 100 billion neurons. So somewhere along the way, you lost 20 billion healthy neurons. Your brain does this because it wants efficiency. It wants to use less energy. So you start out with all these kind of dirt roads in your brain. And those dirt roads, over time, get paved into place into superhighways, and you cut down on the number of total roads. And once those roads become kind of paved in place, everything becomes very hard to change. Because at that point, those synapses, those on-off switches in your brain that dictate your behavior, they become myelinated. Now, myelination means that there's a fatty substance that goes over your neurons. And that fatty substance makes sure that information travels very fast, up to 240 miles per hour. Compare that to a non-pain receptor, which information travels at 4 miles per hour. So you start to see my point that once things get booked into place, that information travels really fast. And a habit, say eating ice cream, drinking alcohol, or watching TV, comes to mind a lot quicker. And this may seem like really bad news for your brain, but over time, your brain does change through a process called neuroplasticity. Your brain is always changing all the time, but it doesn't want to change. So you have to put in some effort, and you have to kind of make do with what you got currently and try to change as you go. If you think of the brain as having kind of all these well-entrenched trails, those trails have to be kind of veered off, detoured, right? So you have to put some obstacles in the way and make those trails harder to travel. So that could be, a friend who's kind of on you to change your behaviors. That could be a therapist that helps you look for motivation, or that could be a 30-day challenge, which makes it easier, more streamlined to complete your goals, right? So once that trail is in place and you start going another direction, something really cool happens in your brain. A star cell is born called an astrocyte cell because they look like stars. So once you start to move down that other path starts to become the way. Same way you would have on a mountain bike trail or a hiking trail once you've detoured and gone a different direction. But it takes some time and energy, such as a 30-day challenge, to make that happen. So you really got to stick with it over the next month. Create some habits that you really want to do and try to get rid of the habits you don't want, and put some effort into it. So today, for our self-reflection, we're going to look at some habits that you want to do more of and habits that you want to do less of, so that just becomes the easier path. So that's all I have for today. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll check in with you tomorrow.